Good afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Hunter Force here. I hope everyone has been enjoying their weekend. I am here in Norfolk, Virginia at 13 News Now with a tropics update on now major hurricane Melissa, which has rapidly intensified over the last 24 hours. Just yesterday morning, it was a tropical storm, and now it is a major Category 4 hurricane, unfortunately on its way towards Jamaica, likely making landfall late Monday night into early Tuesday morning, bringing intense winds, devastating flooding, and landslides as well. And then after it makes landfall in Jamaica, heads towards Cuba and eventually the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos as well. So a lot of people, unfortunately, in the path of this very devastating hurricane. I'm here to give you the latest updates on Melissa. And as we take a look at the satellite and radar right now, it is just looking like a classic textbook hurricane. You see that very well-defined eye. It's still moving very slowly, but it is just an intense storm. The strongest of winds, of course, will be right around the eye wall here, and you could really see that well-defined eye. A lot of convection around it. It's a very healthy storm. There's plenty of warm water in this area. The wind shear has lessened as well. So that's why we saw that extreme rapid intensification with this storm. Now, I'm going to also show you what it looked like over the last 36 hours. It really wasn't, well defined. It wasn't very organized yesterday morning. And then heading into Saturday night and into Sunday, it really got its act together. You could see that organization just popped off extremely quickly as the atmosphere just became extremely conducive for this rapid intensification. And that's exactly what we've been seeing over the last 36 hours as it treks its way closer and closer to the island of Bermuda, seeing some of those outer rain bands, of course, making their way into the island over the last day or so, bringing some on and off heavy showers and downpours, but also bringing rain to Haiti and Cuba as well. And some of these places have already seen flooding, and unfortunately, we've already seen a few deaths in Hispaniola from the rainfall due to Melissa. Here's the latest look at the storm. This is the 2 o'clock advisory. Winds still at 140 miles an hour. So we haven't been seeing over the last couple of advisories, we haven't been seeing the winds upticking much more, but it's looking like by the time we get into Monday morning, we'll see a little bit more of that intensification, and Melissa could become a Category 5 hurricane by Monday morning, with winds up to 160 miles an hour. Now, if this storm makes landfall as a Category 5 or even a high-end Category 4, this could be the strongest hurricane to ever make landfall in Jamaica. So this is just a very serious situation, not only from the very, very intense strong winds, but also from the slow movement bringing intense rainfall and landslides to this area. Eventually, we'll see a pickup in forward speed Tuesday morning into Wednesday. It'll make landfall early Wednesday morning in Cuba, possibly as a major hurricane Category 3, weakening to a Category 2 before it moves on to the Bahamas and portions of the Turks and Caicos heading into Wednesday afternoon and then by Thursday it pushes out to sea, and we no longer, have to worry about Melissa. So what is rapid intensification? This is what Melissa underwent over the last 24 hours. You have to go at least 35 mile per hour wind speed increase within 24 hours. We certainly saw that. Yesterday morning, it was a 70 mile per hour storm. Now it's up to 140. 1 in 3 storms undergo rapid intensification, and most Category 4 or 5 storms see rapid intensification, and this is exactly what has happened with Hurricane Melissa. Tropical storm warnings up for Haiti, also hurricane watches for that area, but we have a hurricane warning for the entire island of Jamaica and hurricane watches in effect for the eastern portions of Cuba. Now, here's a look at the futurecast. Over the next couple of hours, we're going to continue to see more and more rainfall, the outer bands making its way into the island of Jamaica, bringing heavy rainfall as we head into, this is Monday at 3 in the morning, starting to see more of that rain and closing in on the island. Heavy rainfall indicated in those oranges, in the reds. This is Monday morning. Rainfall, heavy rainfall still ongoing. This continues on heading into Monday afternoon. Here we are at 12. And then we start to see that eye inching closer and closer to Jamaica as we head into late Monday afternoon. And then by the time we get to about 7, 8, 9 o'clock, it is just offshore to the south of the island. Still intense rainfall. At this point, you're seeing hurricane force winds pretty much throughout the island, but especially closer to that eye, that's where you're seeing the strongest winds. And then eventually, late Monday into early Tuesday, seeing that landfall. This is 1 o'clock Tuesday morning, likely making landfall in Jamaica. And in this area here, this is where you're seeing the strongest winds. Black River, Mandeville, I believe Savannah is right around this area as well. Some of these areas could get right into that eye wall. So you'll be seeing the strongest winds. You'll see a break from the winds and think maybe, is it over? But that's just the eye. It'll be very calm. If it's extremely well organized, you might be able to even see the sky. No clouds in the eye wall. But then, just not much longer, you'll be seeing the other side of the eye wall, bringing even more intense winds. So that's something you're going to have to watch out for. And then by the time we get to about 5 a.m. Tuesday, getting what could be around Ocho Rios. This is just a model run, so it may not happen exactly like this, but this is a scenario that may happen, and this is similar to what it was showing yesterday. So the models aren't changing up drastically, so it gives you a better idea and understanding of what the storm may do. So again, making landfall around 1 a.m. Tuesday. It's going through the island for hours and hours and hours. And then finally by 5 o'clock, starting to see it exit, but you're still seeing those extreme intense winds around Kingston, Mandeville still, Montego Bay, Ocho Rios. Still extreme rainfall, 5 o'clock in the morning. And then by the time we get to about 7, 8 o'clock, seeing that eye wall push off of the island, still seeing heavy rain and very gusty winds. And then by the time we get to about noon, still some scattered showers possible. It's still going to be breezy. The strongest of winds are now offshore. That's heading towards Cuba. But we could still see some of those showers and heavy downpours from the outer bands, but the rain will not be as consistent heading into the second half of Tuesday, along with those winds starting to come down. But here's a look at the futurecast winds. So now we're seeing gusts, 20 to 30, close to 40 miles an hour around Morant Bay. But of course, as it gets closer, we're going to see those gusts going up and up. So by the time we get to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, still around 30 to 40 miles an hour. And then we get into Monday morning. This is 10 o'clock Monday. We're seeing gusts in Savannah, Mandeville, close to 60 miles an hour. 43 in Morant Bay, 43 in Albertown, 45 mile per hour gusts in Discovery Bay. And then again, keep going up as we head later into Monday evening. As the eye inches closer, we're now getting gusts up to 70 miles an hour in Mandeville, 63 in Savannah, 45 in Discovery Bay, 55 in Ocho Rios. And then here we are. This is one of the most devastating parts, is that you're going to be seeing the strongest winds at night, overnight. This is 12:30 in the morning Tuesday. Gusts pushing 130 miles an hour in Savannah, 103 in Mandeville, 101 in Black River, pushing 60 in Kingston, 57 in Discovery Bay. So it's not going to be a night. Unfortunately, where you'll be able to sleep. it's going to be extremely windy, loud. The rain's going to be pelting. And of course, in a situation like this, you're going to want to stay awake just in case, of course, something happens. But this is, again, where we're seeing the strongest wind gusts pushing into the island early Tuesday morning. And they continue to stay strong throughout the night. 118 in Mandeville, seeing some of those gusts coming down in Savannah, possibly because you're getting into that eye wall. And then even, let's look at, I saw the 122 in Mandeville. This is 1:30 in the morning. You're getting gusts up to 70 in Kingston, 102 in Maypen, 19 in Bull Savannah. You're getting into that eye wall. The winds are coming down. But just to your north, Mandeville is getting into the worst of the storm. 108 in Black River, 64 in Discovery Bay. And then Savannah gets back into the eye wall. Your winds go right back up. Winds are changing direction. 114, this is 3 o'clock in the morning, 120 in Maypen, 78 pushing 80 in Kingston, 87 in Discovery Bay, 103 in Albertown. And then the winds, the strongest winds, get further off towards the north and closer to Kingston, pushing 90-mile-per-hour gusts in Kingston. 119 in Discovery Bay. This is 4 o'clock in the morning. 111 in Maypen. Everyone on the island will be seeing likely hurricane-force gusts, whether you're on the low end or the extreme high end. But also, you have to keep in mind that some of these areas will be seeing higher gusts than what is being shown on here. This is just where we have, the data, the towns, the cities in Jamaica. So some smaller towns or areas where it doesn't populate on the map could be seeing those stronger gusts, especially around Mandeville, Maypen, Albertown, Discovery Bay. Because it's going to be a Category 4, possibly Category 5. So some of the sustained winds, of course, are going to be up to 150 plus miles an hour, and you could be getting gusts stronger than that, even though some of those aren't showing up on here. So that's what you want to keep in mind heading into late Monday through all of Tuesday morning. Early Tuesday morning through late Tuesday morning is when you're going to see the worst of the winds pushing through. Discovery Bay, 4:30 in the morning, 120, 93 in Kingston, 93 in Maypen, 95 in Ocho Rios. And then we get to 5:30, still seeing those 90-plus mile-an-hour wind gusts, 102 in Ocho Rios, 6 in the morning, still 70, 80-mile-per-hour gusts. And it continues like that through early Tuesday morning. The storm's starting to push out. The winds coming down a bit for Savannah, Mandeville, Black River, Cambridge, Montego Bay, but still high in Ocho Rios and Discovery Bay. This is 8:30 in the morning. And then finally, by late morning, early afternoon, we're starting to see those gusts still rather high, but manageable. But at this point, there is destruction from those extreme wind gusts. So it's not a point where you want to go outside. You just still want to stay put, make sure everything's all right where you are, but it's not a time to adventure out, because even these gusts, 30, 40, 50 miles an hour, of course, aren't going to seem as extreme as what was just happening. But since things have weakened, structures have weakened, trees, so even the smallest of gusts could throw something, down onto the road or wherever you are and hurt someone, hurt you. So that's why you want to stay where you are, even though you're seeing those winds lighten up. But still breezy throughout the day on Tuesday. And then even by, late Tuesday, things start to dramatically get better. But of course, a terrible situation ongoing from what has just happened. Here's a look at the European model. This brings it into Jamaica as we head into Monday evening. So this one makes landfall a little bit earlier. This is around 7 o'clock Monday night. Making landfall, though, in the similar areas around Savannah, Black Pen, or Bullpen, Maypen, and then it continues to push through the island, heading towards Discovery Bay. Kingston getting in on some extreme storm surge from a situation like this, because you're getting the winds, they're counterclockwise. So you're getting the waters pushed up into the bays and coves right around Kingston. Could see up to 10 to maybe even 12 feet of storm surge. So that's another dangerous situation. And then we see this exiting by early Tuesday morning, and then it heads towards Cuba. Could make landfall once again as a major hurricane, still bringing storm surge, heavy rain, extremely gusty winds to the eastern half of Cuba. And then by the time we get into early Wednesday morning, it heads towards the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos, possibly as a Category 2 hurricane, which still will bring some damaging winds, storm surge, and extremely heavy rain. So this is through Wednesday morning, getting through Pirates Well. And then by the time we get into late Wednesday and Thursday, it pushes out to sea. And then we no longer have to worry about Melissa itself, but of course we're going to have to worry about the after effects from the storm. Here's a look at the wind speeds for the European model. We're seeing those gusts coming up 30, 40 miles an hour again throughout the day on Monday, up to about 50, Monday morning. And then they keep going up and up and up throughout Monday afternoon. So we're seeing 70-mile-per-hour gusts now around Savannah, Mandeville, Black River, Maypen, 8:30 in the evening, up to 56 in Discovery Bay. And then, of course, those will keep getting higher and higher with 100-plus mile-an-hour winds wherever that center is going. So Savannah, 118, 91 in Mandeville, 87 in Black River, 127 in Bull Savannah, 77 in Maypen. And of course, again, could be seeing those stronger wind gusts. Even if your town is not on here and you're close to some of these areas, you could expect those types of numbers and even higher. So this is through Tuesday morning, 119 mile per hour gusts in Discovery Bay, 111 in Maypen, 93 in Kingston, 120 in Discovery Bay, pushing 100 mile per hour gusts in Kingston, 105 in Port Maria. This is 5:45 in the morning. And then we continue with those really strong gusts through Tuesday before they start to calm down late Tuesday into Wednesday. But still, it's going to be breezy as the storm pushes out. Here's what we could see again in terms of additional rainfall through Wednesday. So this is just the next couple of days, over a foot in some areas around Kingston. You get that orographic lift. So you're getting more water squeezed out of these storms from these mountains. That's causing landslides. All of the water rushing down the mountain into the valleys. That's causing flooding down there, down into the valley. But you're also getting storm surge. So it's really a tough situation for everyone throughout the island. Could be seeing a little bit less rain in the western side of the island around Montego Bay, but still seeing close to a foot in Haiti, up to 7 to 9 inches in Cuba. So you're getting super strong winds and you're getting extreme rainfall, storm surge, and you're also getting landslides. This is what the National Hurricane Center is saying. Jamaica, seek shelter now. Damaging winds and heavy rainfall today and on Monday will lead to catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding and numerous landslides before the strongest winds arrive Monday night and Tuesday morning. Extensive infrastructural damage, long-duration power and communication outages, and isolation of communities are expected. Life-threatening storm surge is likely along portions of the southern coast Monday night and Tuesday morning. So everything I was just talking about kind of squeezed into a paragraph that you just have to take action now. You have to find where you're staying, make sure your home is secured, make sure you have everything you need. Have a plan, you're ready to go, you want to charge your phone. And once you lose power, maybe you've been charging one of those blocks that you don't need power to charge your phone with because that's already charged up and you could plug other things into that as well. Plenty of water bottles, non-perishable food items, plastic bags. That could help keep all of your clothes dry or any additional things that you may need dry from the rain, from the flooding, the surge. You want to check on your neighbors, relocate if needed, and of course, do any home prep if possible. I found this website yesterday. This is a map that shows a list of all of the hurricane shelters around Jamaica. There was about 800 of them throughout the island. There was a lot. This is www.odpem.org.jm/shelters. So this again gives you a map and a list of all of the hurricane shelters around Jamaica. If you've been thinking about evacuating and you weren't sure where to go, this could be a good thing for you as we head into tonight and tomorrow. You really have to act quickly because the storm is approaching and is getting closer and closer, and the island unfortunately is starting to run out of time. Here's again the latest look at the tropical satellite, a textbook looking hurricane. Very well organized, extremely strong. You see that really organized eye wall, an eye. Just that's where you're seeing the strongest winds, right around this eye, and you can even see down into the ocean. So just a really dangerous storm. I'll give you one final look at the latest information from the National Hurricane Center. As of the 2 o'clock advisory, winds up to 140 miles an hour, gusting to 165. Movement has upped a bit, still to the west at 5 miles an hour. But then we'll see landfall late Monday into early Tuesday. Could make landfall as a Category 5 hurricane. So winds could be up to 160 miles an hour. Then it exits Tuesday morning, making landfall once again in Cuba, heading into Tuesday afternoon. And then we see the Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas being affected heading into late Wednesday morning before it pushes out by Thursday. So that is the latest update on Hurricane Melissa. I appreciate you joining me today. I will be doing the 6 o'clock newscast tonight with more updates on Melissa. We're also on at 11 p.m. tonight, but also I'm doing Hurricane Hub Live. That's at 8 o'clock this evening. It's going to be the most updated information on Hurricane Melissa. It'll have the 8 o'clock advisory. So again, that's at 8 o'clock tonight on the 13 News Now Plus app. We're going to be doing this, of course, all week. It happens every single day. So heading into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Hurricane Hub Live at 8 o'clock with the most updated information. But again, I appreciate you joining me today. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and I hope to see you later. Have a good one.